Do you guys see my screen or do you see my my
I can see your
background?
presentation.
Oh, you can. Okay. I don't know why. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to how to get your first multifamily investment deal. My name is Annabelle Pacheco. I am a real estate broker. I'm an investor, been in business for 24 years and part of a global real estate company called eXp Realty. My goal really for this call is to share with everyone each week just the steps that I took to purchase in my first multifamily deal, really to bring guest speakers from the multifamily space so that they can share with us and just really expand on our knowledge. And really, I encourage everyone on this call to participate, ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more money you guys will make. And this is it's just a safe place. It's a platform just to share information. And if maybe you're stuck on something, you need some help, we're here to help. And if I don't have the answers, I definitely have the resources and can connect you with someone. I'm not selling anything, offering anything. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my story with everyone on this call. A little bit about myself. I started in the mortgage industry back in the mid-90s. And just really during that time, I was doing a lot of refinances and refinancing clients at 9.5% fixed rates. So I know today's rate increase seems like a lot, but it really isn't. It's a pretty, I mean, these are real numbers, and they're just conservative numbers or conservative interest rates. A little bit more is that I purchased throughout my career, I've purchased over 100 properties, and I have rehabbed and flipped these properties. So I've become very aware of identifying, homes when they are in good areas and they may not look the best, that I can go in there and I can fix it up and put it back on the market and sell it for more. So I've definitely been involved in many years of doing that. And 2001 took a little bit of a, just kind of shifted a bit and built a 150 capacity restaurant from ground up. We had servers. I mean, this is a full staffed restaurant. We had managers, chefs, servers, about 15 people that worked there for us, and ran that for about 8 years, sold it, and one of the happiest days of my life. Went back to what I love and what I know how to do best, which was real estate. And I focused 100% in representing clients in both the residential and the commercial real estate part. Now, in 2015, I purchased my first multifamily property, which was 34 doors. And I have expanded into El Paso, 310 doors, Houston, 180 doors. And I recently expanded into Cleveland, 75 doors. So just, definitely focusing on the multifamily and looking to create that cash flow and just generational wealth. And really, it'll lead to what I want to say here is that I was really tired of this, fix and flip and starting over again. And don't get me wrong, I think it's an incredible business. You should, if you have the opportunity and you can do it, I highly recommend that, you do it. That's like immediate capital that you're building, right? And as you create that capital, you can take that capital and you can invest that into multifamily. So here are the reasons why I decided to invest in multifamily. And I'm just going to share this with you guys in hopes that you guys, it'll inspire you guys as well, and that you guys can actually go out there and do that. Now, number one, I was looking for cash flow, right? Just what out there that I can invest some money will give me cash flow. And it was multifamily. So just in a nutshell, it's rental income minus all of your expenses is your cash flow. Then obviously number two, it was, what a great opportunity where you now have tenants paying down your loan. I mean, you just don't even feel it. Every month that you're collecting that rental income, it's, part of that is going towards paying down your mortgage. Number 3 was appreciation. When you buy a property, and this is in all cases, but when you buy a property, you're banking on that it will appreciate over the long run, right? So as long as you do your numbers and you do your homework, right? You're buying a property that today may be worth X, but down the road, maybe in the next 5 years, maybe in the next 10 years, it will appreciate. And then number 4, the tax benefits that this opportunity allowed me, which number 1 was depreciation, allows you to expense a portion of that physical structure each year. And then 2 was the 1031 exchange, where it allows you to defer the capital gain taxes. And there's no limit. I mean, you can do this as many times as you want. We had the opportunity back in 2015. We were offered opportunities, and I didn't jump on it. I was overwhelmed. This was my first deal. And I kind of regret not having done it, because I would have even, more than 10 times my capital if I would have invested. It was like 100 doors that were offered. I hate even saying it, because it's like so sad that I didn't jump on it, but it was like 100 doors for like 30,000 a door. It was crazy. But anyway, you just kind of, you live and learn, and you hope you don't make that mistake again, and that you are, I guess, gutsy enough, right, to go for it. So here's just a little example of the property that I purchased. It was a value add opportunity. And value add just simply means that you're buying the worst property in the best neighborhood, and that you're going to be able to increase its net operating income and the value of the property through the renovation. Very simple. So if you go back, right, I told you guys I've done over 100 flips throughout my career, and it was just buying homes in the areas that I had studied. And I knew that I'd go in there, fix them up, and I would increase the value of the home. Well, multifamily is different, right? Multifamily, you're going to improve the condition of the home. You're going to increase the net operating income. And then that's what will give you the value. It'll increase the value as well. Okay, so I purchased my property for $850,000. And I thought that was very expensive then. I was overpaying actually per door. But anyway, it was definitely a good buy. And at that time, I was ready to go through the traditional financing. But you know what? I thought it would be easier to just see if I can get the seller to carry a note. It just made things, I think, just a lot smoother. It was a lot of money that I gave him as a down payment, but we were in a position where we had enough money to go all into this deal. And so he did agree, the seller did agree to finance the remaining balance. So we made payments to him, and that allowed us, it was a 2-year loan, and that allowed us basically to go in there, remodel, update the units, increase the rents. Now, it was much easier to go to a lender, right? You refinance because this property is now performing. And at that time, when we refinanced, it had already appraised at double. So by year 2, the property had doubled in value. Obviously, I mean, we did a lot of work and we improved it. So we were able to get pretty much $1 million, got all of our money back, and we have zero invested in the property. And today's value of that property is $2.8 million. So did really well. And here's just a picture of the property, a building here with 24 units, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And the front part of the building, which is 10 units, 2.5 2 bedrooms and 1.5 townhome style properties. So I know I've spoken a lot. Any questions so far? Anyone here that is maybe currently on the process. You guys are looking to purchase. Any questions, anything that I've said so far? We're all good? All right, Bill, well, you're up. So today's guest is Mr. Bill Gross. He's the LA probate specialist and also multifamily investor. And I wanted to have him join our call today to share what he's currently doing in the multifamily space with all of us. So welcome, Bill.
Annabelle, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
How can I help you?
Talk to us. Tell me, what are you doing? Share all those. I know that there's a lot of stuff you're doing behind the scenes, and just kind of share with us, what are you doing for, multifamily investing?
Sure. So, I'll give you a little background because I think one of the, I'm a coach. I run a business. I'm a real estate broker. I sell probate real estate for families, estates, and attorneys. And I work with investors and wholesalers. So that's my business, my 9 to 5, I guess I would think of it as that way. And what I know is that the purpose of that business or 9 to 5 job is to make enough money to earn extra money and have that extra money then work for me in the long run. So eventually I can live on the extra money stream, and then the money I earn is added. That's the goal. That's getting out of the rat race. That's financial independence. That's the goal. So I've been in real estate and, I had a couple of major setbacks along the way. One time I had a mortgage company. We were publicly traded. I was the, one of the management. Yeah, my stock was worth like $5 million. And one of our partners got our license pulled and the whole thing fell apart. Started over again. Moved from Dunbar to LA for personal reasons, starting over again. The mortgage industry melted down in 2008 or 9, start over again. Got into real estate, built myself back up again. Worked for companies where I met Annabelle, was making good money, but I realized that I'm older school, where in the old days, if you're sales, you went to management, that was a natural path. That's not true in real estate. And even though I made good income, I made about $250,000 a year, I wasn't building any equity. And the owner, despite prior assurances, one day said to me, I will never share equity with anybody in any future partnerships. And so I realized I didn't want to work the rest of my life for the man. So I had to start over again. And so real estate investing as a real estate agent is challenging for a couple of reasons. One is it's tough enough to make enough money to live on. And I have a wife and a daughter. We live a great life. We're in a community where I could send my daughter to private schools and private colleges and such, but it costs a lot of money. The business is challenging to make enough to earn all that. Has its own challenges. Second, qualifying for a loan. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Qualifying for a loan is tough if I'm the sole breadwinner in my household. So to qualify for a loan, if I'm going to borrow money to buy a multifamily, you have to have, 2 years income taxes plus a third year, you're already exceeding that. So that really means 3 years in a row of increased income. That's challenging of sorts. 3, I got into probate and I originally thought, well, I'll find some properties to fix and flip. I don't like to fix property. The margins were tight, and I really don't like renters here in LA. It just scares the heck out of me, the whole environment in Los Angeles. And that's where my business is, and increasingly the more successful my business was, the more narrow it was geographically in terms of the properties I was finding. And so I was helping investors fix and flip and make money, and I wasn't. So I realized that was a problem. And I was making good money. And so I wanted to put that money to work for me. So I thought about the process. And so here I just made some notes for myself of, what I did and what I'd recommend. And I think the challenge in this path is, when you go to a hardware store, the guy who sells hammers is going to sell you a hammer to fix everything. And in real estate, they're coaches, but they have one way. They're going to sell you that way. And that way may or may not fit for you. I think it's important to do a personal assessment of your strengths and weaknesses and what you like and are interested in. And so personally, being a broker, I'd like to go into a market that I might one day have my own license. Like I'd like to retire in Florida. I used to live in Florida. And I'm not saying it's better or worse than any place else for anybody but me, but I am saying if I might move there for my license, it'd be nice to own my investment property in Florida, if outside of California, because then I could broker it perhaps. Or I'll meet investors, become clients perhaps, and stay in doing business. So for me, geography was important for my business. Geography was important because I don't want to travel. I have a friend who bought property in Kansas. And they love it. And God bless them. They love going there. They made a lot of friends there. It's been great for them. They're kind of the camper kind of people, or the mountain cabin kind of people, fisher and all that. I'm not. For me, roughing it is anything below a Hilton is roughing it. So I'm not interested in some great properties, investments, just not for me. And also, it has to support my other business, meaning I'm a broker in real estate. I want the kind of product that other people might do business with me in, and that will help hedge the bet. Meaning, if by investing I meet a real estate broker, joins my team, and I make $10,000 a year on their business, that's $10,000 a year return for the investment in a sense, or $10,000 less I have to worry about on my invested dollar. If that follows. Mm-hmm. Now that's me. That's not everybody. But I do think we all have our own individual reasons, criteria, and you have to get clear what they are. So I did like a lot of people do. I read books. I went to seminars. I went to real estate networks like this, online, back then, live. And one particular, I went to Grant Cardone's real estate investment boot camp in July. It was amazing. He is a master real estate investor. He is an absolute master teacher of how multifamily works. It was an amazing introduction to the process. And so I realized what I wanted really clearly. And it made some criteria. And so, well, I want to start small, and then I want to build up to maybe no more than $50,000 with any one person. And at the time I had, 4 blocks of $50,000 or $20,000 to invest. So I started. One easy was a non-accredited fund that Grant started. It was easy to put $5,000 in that. It was just, if they charged me money to learn, I probably got my money back already. But I'm getting return on that investment, and I own a little bit of this magnificent property in Boca Raton, Florida, where I used to live. Magnificent. Okay.
Did you say 25,000, Bill?
I put in 5,000.
Oh, 5,000.
I think you can go as low as 1 actually on that product, but I put in 5.
Okay.
And that was just kind of like to get my feet wet, and you get the documents, you docu-sign everything, you look at the numbers, everything's done professionally. And I would say that also set me up with, this is what the top of the line investment is going to look like. Maybe not my investment dollars, but in terms of the quality of the documents and the presentation. So the other thing I know is every real estate investor I ever interviewed, when I asked the question, how many deals did you look at before you bought one? Up until about 6 months or a year ago, the answer was always 100 or more, always. Grant Cardone, Alpha's asking, Grant Cardone. Cardone Capital is the investment side. But so, and I saw Grant, he showed how he looked at like 5 or 10 a day. He just look at deals, and he gave a quick number as to how he looked at deals to see if they made any sense. So learning that you have to look at a lot of deals, how you look at a lot of deals. So I started going to now I helped Annabelle launch this Zoom call, not for my personal investments, but for her business, because she wanted to invest in these properties. She wants to broker these properties as a real estate broker. And so I helped her because we're partners in business. So I helped her launch this. But I'll tell you that I watched this call either live or on demand because I want to see who the guests are. And so I've been to, 50 or 80 different calls like this. I always ask them to send me whatever slide deck they have, or I'll register as an investor and have them send me their numbers. I look at the deals. I try to learn what to ask for, what to look for. So interestingly enough, I had a guy who I'd known for about a year who I didn't know what he did. Turns out he was a partner, a fundraiser in one of these kind of companies, Cloud Capital LLC, Chris DeSille. So one day I'm watching him on Annabelle's call, who I introduced him to Annabelle. I made this call and I'm listening to this guy go, wow, that's like a really good investment. That's like, now that was in Texas, it wasn't Florida. But other than that one minor difference. And frankly, I go to Texas as well every other year or so for conferences. I thought, and I like Texas a lot. And it's halfway from Florida. So I said, no, I look at Texas, the numbers are great. So that went from a kind of a mutual fund $5,000 investment to my first LP investment as a limited partner for $50,000. And it's on one hand, it's a little scary. You write the check, you wonder they're going to make off with it and not going to be an idiot. I'll tell you on that one, I got back at K1. Now, one of the situations for me is I'm making good money on my business. I have to pay a lot of taxes. So I try to minimize that. I have a corporation, I have a bookkeeper, I have an accountant, but I invested $50,000. I got a K1 that said that the investment lost $41,000 last year. Now, I only wrote the check in December, but the way the tax law is written, the day your investment closes or the day they close on the deal, they can depreciate, they can write off against expenses certain investments that might really be applied over the next period of years in that current year. It's called accelerated depreciation. So basically, instead of getting a W-2 or 1099 that I had to claim the claimed income, they had my $50,000, but they sent me a thing allowing me to reduce my taxable income by $41,000. And because I made way more than that, in essence, that put in my pocket about $9,000 cash.
Yeah.
So even if I lost the $50,000, I already got $9,000 back.
Right.
And for me, that's a big hedge on my business. So here, if you look at this particular investment, I've met Chris and we've networked. He's been on this call, other calls that I do. Chris helped my partner, Annabelle, in her business, maybe not directly as a commission, but he was a guest on here, but helped promote her business. The investment's still worth $50,000. I'll probably get about 6% cash return per year. And then eventually they'll refinance or sell and I'll end up at a better return than that.
And double your money. And double your money.
I'll probably get my $50,000 back plus another $50,000.
Exactly.
And I already got $9,000 from the IRS. Thank you very much. Love that money. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
So I think that Annabelle went through the advantages of these investments. And I could just say that being on this call, I found one in particular that I like. Now, I'm not saying everybody should invest in that investment closed. So they have new ones coming up. And like everybody in real estate, the new deals are more expensive, which means that your return might be a little less. The interest rates went up, which means the profits are a little less. Certainly, everything is more volatile today. So you should be a little more careful and work with companies with good track records. But I can tell you that I have money I still have a lot of, I've made more money since. So I have more cash now than before. And even I made a couple other investments as well. So that's one of 4 such investments I've made. But what I can tell you is I still have some cash, too much, that is going down in value by 8 or 10% because inflation goes up, cash goes down in value. Whereas the real estate I bought, it might not go up 20%, it might only go up 9%, it might only go up 6%, but it's going to go up because inflation means the value of that building with the nails, the plaster, the wood, the labor, all that became more expensive to replace housing. So the housing that's built has gone up in value as well. So personally, I feel like the best place I could hide my money during these inflationary uncertain times would be in a cash flowing, that's very important, real estate investment that's more maybe a little middle market. I'm not sure about the high end, but somebody can always, a high end person can move into middle market property, but a middle market can't step up to luxury property. So I like being in the B minus area of the price range. I have to tell you, I wish I had more money in that investment. I wish I had put more deals down last year. I just couldn't get the money invested fast enough. So that's my story of how multifamily out-of-state investing, how I've done it. And I've already gotten a nice return for my time and money.
That's awesome. No, I think that's great. And so, I mean, I'm just kind of curious. I'd like to get a feel of those that are on this call. Has anyone invested in possibly like a syndicating group? Are you part of any multifamily or maybe on your own? If you guys can maybe put it in the chat if you don't want to talk. But just, I'd like to get a feel for those that are on this call. Let me know. What you
Hello.
guys are. Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, this is Stephen. I just wanted to say that I'm new at this real estate investing, so I really don't have a lot of questions I want to give you guys at this time. But my father was a general contractor and a real estate investor years ago before he passed away, and he did some really stunning deals that really kind of blew my mind back years ago. And I never really got interested in doing what he did. But now he's passed away and I'm in retirement years, and I'm actually now looking at doing what he did. So I've been looking at property. I've been looking at, whether single family residences or the multifamily. And I really prefer looking at multifamily. I think there's more bang for the buck in it.
Mhm.
And so I want to thank you guys for giving us this great information, because not only am I learning a lot, I'm getting motivated. That's one thing that's always been a plague of mine. I want to do something, but if I'm not motivated, it's going to go slower. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
But now I'm getting motivated. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to putting out this information. And that's really all I wanted to say. So thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen. And where are you located? Where are you at?
I'm in Bellflower, California, in the county of Los Angeles.
Oh, very good. Okay, so we're in California as well. Bill's in Los Angeles. And
I grew
I'm
up in La
in
Habra
the,
and Whittier, so I know Bellflower real well.
yeah, and I'm in Walnut Diamond Bar area.
And I think,
Okay.
Steve, one thing I would say is, I see so many people who kind of get into a paralysis. They learn and they go into bigger pockets podcasts, which is great to learn things, but they'll watch, they'll listen, they'll watch, and they never do anything. For me, it was so liberating when I wrote the first check to Cardone Capital, because now I'm in the game. Now I have money on the line. Now I told my wife we invested some money. It wasn't much. I can say it was $5,000. But I think that the beauty of syndicated deals is you don't have to take on all the risk.
Right.
And when you buy a house and flip it, you take on all the risk. And if it's not going to be here, in your case, it's not Bellflower, you got to drive there, or it could be a long drive away. But in a syndicated deal, there you can choose to have professional people who all they do is manage those kind of properties.
That's right.
And I know my brother was a single family investor and retired. He bought, I think, about 13 properties. He lost a few in a divorce, but he ended up with about 9 properties. Classic story that paid off over time, and he's retired on them. But he loved it when people called him at late at night, the toilet was stuck. He was a handy guy and he had nothing else to do. He enjoyed that whole process. I only have a toolbox so that when my son-in-law comes over, I give him the toolbox to fix stuff. I don't even know what to do with this thing.
You don't even know how to handle a hammer.
I mean, I can hit you with a hammer. I know what to do with a hammer, I think. The rest of the stuff, I don't know what they are.
Okay.
But what I would say is the next one, syndicated deals, is that you have to know a lot about the details. You have to know the finances, and you have to know who the company is, and you have to know the management, the track record.
Right.
But you don't have to know a lot about fixing stuff. And that's, to me, and then also liability. Your liability is limited by definition to your investment. So you can invest $5 or $25 or $50 or $100,000. That's as much as you ever could lose.
Right.
And even there, you get a tax write-off for the part of it. So that's my.
Exactly. Well, and to add to that, I mean, you guys, you would have asked me 7 years ago about syndicating. I would have said never, 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 never. I've been doing, I've just been in charge of doing my own thing, not having anybody else kind of tell me what I need to do, or just splitting the responsibility. It was all 100% on me. And that's all I knew. And that's the way that I wanted to continue. But I have realized the more and more that I get myself involved and I learn about multifamily, it's very hard unless you have access to a lot of money, right? And you're willing to put all that money basically, because there's always a risk. It's very hard to grow in multifamily on your own. And this is one of the reasons why I do this weekly call as well, is number one, I'm educating myself. I'm learning more about it. I get to share it with you guys. And, probably maybe down the road, I'll be able to create my own fund, right? I'll be able to raise funds and go out there now and maybe unite myself with another person who has the deals, who has these opportunities. And again, just bring in all those people that, that want to come on, come along for the ride. Obviously, you're going to do your numbers, but at the end of the day, for me, what's most important is that that person, that you trust that person, how they work. I mean, that's critical in any business, right? Or any partnership. I think that you guys have to know who they are, right? And how they work. What's their history? What have they done, right? How many deals have they done? And I think that, on one of my calls, I do go down the syndication route, and I kind of explain step by step, important questions that you want to ask these syndicators, right? And you want to have access to the financials as well. This isn't you're giving money and you're blind to everything that's going on. You have the right to ask them for financials. You want to look at those financials. You want to know what your money, like how's your money, what's going on with the property. And a lot of the syndicating partners that I'm with, they'll send out emails. They'll let you know what the status is, updates on the property, what they're doing, right? If they've come across, there's always going to be issues when you invest in multifamily, always going to be issues. Well, if they've come across an issue, they'll let you know. That way you have an idea of what's going on. And every syndicator is different. I have weekly Zoom calls with one syndicator. I have weekly emails with one. But you know what? They're available at all times. If I call them up or I text them, hey, can we talk? They're more than happy to get on the phone and talk to you. Now, I'm not trying to sell you guys on a syndication. I'm just saying, if you're looking to get into multifamily and you want to get you just want to get your feet wet, it's a way to do it. And like Bill said, Grant Cardone, I didn't even know he had a fund for, that's non-accredited investors. You can go in there with what, $1,000, you said?
Yeah. For Cardone Capital, I'm
Still
pretty
have
sure.
that? Does he still have
I'll look up right now. I'm pretty sure it's I think, let me see.
and I think that, if you guys on this call are interested in at least, getting your foot wet, right? Like, just let's check it out. You want to become familiar with the paperwork. You want to look at you just kind of want to become familiar with it so that when an opportunity comes by where it's going to require maybe $50,000, you have an idea now and you feel better about it. Can you show that? Can you share your screen?
Sure.
That'd be nice.
So this is Cardone Capital. I'm logged in.
Okay.
There's a summary of the document of the portfolio. So they put these properties together in the non-accredited portfolio.
And just so that you all know, Grant Cardone buys A, B property.
A
Property.
only A.
Yeah. Okay.
He buys
A property.
per unit. I think it's $1,000 is the minimum. Yeah, minimum $1,000 for his non-accredited product.
$1,000.
Right.
I
did 5,000 just because I don't know why. I just was happy to invest it. It wasn't much at all.
I'm sure we easily will blow $1,000 or even $5,000 on nothing. Might as well blow it on this and let it work for you and just forget that it's even there.
And so he has all the legal documents, and I did read through these. These are, while they look legalistic, they are documents that are written in English, and some of the sections were less important to me, and some were more important. I read a little more carefully. Let me go back to where it particularly was. There's one document particularly to show. He goes into all the detailed numbers that they show in their marketing pieces are all documented here. And so when you get the
let's see that one. Yeah, Las Olas. That's a nice.
So when you see this, these documents are backed up in the more complicated and detailed ones. But Olas Walk is in Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm familiar with the area. I used to live in South Florida. I used to live in Boca, did business in Fort Lauderdale. And so I'm somewhat familiar with the area. This is a very high quality property, built 2021. average apartment size, 916 square feet. So it's 456 units. And it was 96% occupied at the time that they did this. So I think they buy them, fix them, and then they reinvest them at fully invested rates. And there's site plans. And then these are just different pictures and marketing pieces designed to get you to understand what the property looks like. Again, Las Olas is a famous area, kind of like you might think of Sunset Boulevard or West Hollywood. It's a well-known neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale. And Federal Highway is like Sepulveda Boulevard. So this is equivalent of Sepulveda and Sunset, or Sepulveda and Wilshire Boulevard. This is a key intersection. And so he's showing you downtown of Fort Lauderdale, and then where this property is in relation to that.
Hey, I didn't know he called it 10X Las Olas.
So part of his strategy, again, is he's branding his buildings 10X because his thesis is there's a premium to be earned by having premium amenities. So he's going for the high end of a rental market, locating right next to where he finds the jobs are really booming, and they have high amenities. But if each one's 10X, he feels that tenants in different markets will look for his property, and then he can also consolidate marketing material, he can consolidate overhead and things like that. So it's an interesting concept. And you can see where it is in relation to the ocean, which is to the right of here. So in Florida, there's water everywhere. So in California, we see water, we get excited. In Florida, every single lot, when they built these lots here, they built this whole area. They dug up all the dirt and poured it here, but they dug it out from these areas because there's water. The water table is like 10 feet down, almost all Florida. And so again, he has a layout of the land, and these are just different marketing pieces and details to help you understand. But again, I live there, so I was pretty familiar. You can see the ocean behind you. And this is south, so Miami is down this way. And this is the main part of Fort Lauderdale, so property's right there. So if you're buying in this deal, you're buying really into, this is as much as you're ever gonna see. Like I said, this is about as fine a marketing package as you're ever gonna see. Everything is over the top. And so by starting here for $5,000, which I've already gotten, a distribution on. I didn't throw the money away.
Cool.
So that was that one. And here's Riverwalk. This is another property. So this particular investment is a pool of his various investments. So this one is in Fort Lauderdale also, but closer to the water. So the one we showed before was off of Federal Highway over here, and this one's down closer to the water, where they have high-rise condos. So this is beautiful. But again, I don't know that I would necessarily invest because it's beautiful, because you're paying more for that. That's his thesis. His strategy is, have a better quality. You can charge a higher price. You can see there's a river that comes in from the ocean inland towards inland. And so this particular product is on the water. And here's his other 10X living is over here at Olas Walk. So you can imagine he's going to share staff and resources amongst these different projects.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So again, that's his thesis, and he has several others. Here's Miami River. This one's beautiful, right on the water.
Wow. If
so he's looking for 300 units and up.
How much? Yeah, 300.
And I think they're buying them and fixing them up in one fund and then putting them into this fund as a holding fund, where you're going to get less of a return, but more stable because it's already rented up at 98%.
What's the rate of return for the investment? Is there a feature here where you could see that?
So
maybe the offering circular.
So this has the actual contract in it. Offering circular. No, it's going to be very technical.
Oh.
Also, that has the numbers behind that he was displaying. So we saw that.
Now I've been on both ends of the spectrum, right? I've owned my own property. I've had to go in there. I've had to fix, be part of it. And so I'll just say there.
So this is the actual numbers, right? And so it shows they bought the property, what the costs were. It closed in July through the end of the year.
I mean, you just kind of maybe just.
I know there's an overview somewhere, and I'm just not finding it. Yeah, I don't see. There was another document that had the overall package, and I want to say they were looking like about 6% return overall, which again, for me, I was wanting to take for something like this just to get into it.
I mean, it's still not bad, right? I mean, you're not making any in the bank.
Correct. I feel like I'm learning, in this process here, whereas I was, the bank, they're just taking my money and laughing at me, I think.
Exactly. That's why I'm a firm believer of don't have any money in your account, invest it, put it to work.
Yeah. No, I want my money. I work hard every day. I want my money to work hard for me.
Exactly. So it doesn't say. So what I was saying is that, there it is. Does it say there?
My investment with him, that's all I have, is one deal.
Okay.
So I don't see. Yeah, there is an overview brochure. I don't know where it is. It's misplaced it somehow. Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay, well, no big deal. I mean, this is great information.
Yeah.
So who's going to invest? Who's going to invest in multifamily? See, now you don't have an excuse. Now you could actually, with $1,000, you can actually invest in multifamily. Become familiar with it. Yeah. Just become familiar with the documents and reading it, right? Because you can join as many like meetup groups and network and multifamily, and until you actually do it, you're not going to learn. It's just, there's power in just being involved and actually reviewing and looking at those documents. So if anything that you can take from today's call, which I think was awesome that you brought that up, Bill, because I really didn't know that he had non-accredited that small amount of $1,000.
It's unusual.
Yeah. I don't know anyone. I mean, I really don't know.
And he may not still, I mean, he may have raised it. I don't know the particulars, to be honest. I know when I saw that, I said, how can I lose? It's like a test drive.
Correct.
Because frankly, if you'd said, in some regards, I might have put 50,000 in.
Right.
But I wasn't ready. But when I said I could go for 5, fine, here's a check. Like I did as quick as I could because I knew I would work out.
100%. I'd do the same thing. I would do the same thing. Any questions?
And not promoting his investment.
No, we're not.
We involved in it. I don't get commission on it. I just want to see everybody get involved. People have asked me, I'm in real estate. People ask me, how do I get started? I don't have a good answer. Here's one. Put $5,000 in, get 6% a year, be happy with it. And
I agree. At least if you want to become familiar, right? I mean, a lot of people pay coaching, right? They want to learn how to do something in business, and they go and they spend, I don't know, $1,000 a month on coaching. Well, if you want to learn multifamily and at least want to get your feet wet and you want to become familiar with the documentation and look at, put in $5,000 or put in $1,000. Again, I don't get anything. Bill doesn't get anything. It's just an opportunity. We're like just kind of giving you that little push, right? Like look into it and see if it works. Did you put the info on the chat, Bill, or can you for Grant Cardone? That'd be great.
CardoneCapital.com.
Cardone Capital. There you go. Non-accredited. Perfect. Let's see here. We have, what are good locations and sources to find good deals?
Oh, here you go. Okay, so here's a financial summary. I just found where it is. It's on that document with the pictures. Let me just show you real quick.
Okay.
So each one of these investments has their own, and you're buying a percentage in the total. This is the Tex River Walk. So they were projecting year one, cash on cash return of 4.8%, 6% to the fund. And then over time, these were the distributions. And then at the end of time, you're going to get back investor cash flow. What was the number?
How many years are they? figuring this over? I mean, like the investment is for how long?
10 years.
Oh, it's 10 years. Okay.
And so he's taking, they're going to refinance in year 5.
Yeah.
So usually what happens is when they have an event like that, you have a chance to cash out, and then you can stay in the rest of the way. So it's a big chunk where you're going to get, the way he's projecting it, 6% per year, and then you get about 43% back in year 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 24%, about 67% at the end of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see how this loses. It's already rented up. Rents are not going to go down with inflation.
Right.
There's not going to be vacancies in high quality properties in South Florida. There just are none. So I just didn't see that. If you said what's more secure, that property or my money at Wells Fargo, I'm more comfortable with that than I am with the Wells Fargo money.
I agree. Now, I mean, I know, I will tell you, I'm sure there's people on this call that would probably not want to invest money in there for that long of a period. Because I know that I've had that asked. And there are other syndicators out there. Again, I'm not pushing syndication on you, but I'm only saying it because I've been through it. Syndication, there are syndicators out there that it's the whole time is 3 to 5 years, right? By year 3, they try to refinance out, get you back at least 100% of your capital, or at, a good chunk of it, maybe 70, 80% of it. And then maybe in the next 2 years, they can sell the property out and cash you out completely. But in the meantime, while they give you back your initial capital, or in part of your capital, you're still earning cash flow, which is also great. Now that's a shorter period, right? That's 3 to 5 years.
So here's the difference. What you're talking about is more commonly on a value add property.
Correct.
Where you buy a property, they're going to improve it by maybe 20%, 25%. And then as a result of that, they're going to raise the rents of the whole building and then refinance based on the new income and pull cash out. So on one hand, that's a better investment from a return, but also for any return, there's a risk. What's the risk? The risk is what something goes wrong while they're doing the investments. What if when they're ready to improve the property, there's no lumber available? Well, you can imagine that being a possibility, right? Particularly with an inexperienced, smaller team. How is it Tesla is building record numbers of cars and Ford and GM are having problems with supply chain because Tesla is doing a better job getting through the process, not letting us stop them. Ford and GM are saying, oh, don't blame us, it's a bad economy. Right. You want to be with the Tesla, not with the GM or Ford, just to use an analogy. These investments are a little different. These are already rented up and there's no value add. He's buying it at a condition pretty much towards the top of the market. Now, what he is doing is upgrading the amenities, which maybe is not a 20% value add, but maybe a 5% value add to raise the rents. So it's not as big an investment, it's not as big a return.
Right.
So you're not getting that, when you do a value add, it might take you a year or 2 to finish, and in year 3, you refinance, you can pay people back. This takes a little bit longer, but it's a little less risk. So for me, particularly for a first-time investment, for $5,000, it's not really at risk because I know people are in those buildings paying rent, but you won't get as quick a return. So this is longer-term money for sure.
Right. Awesome. No, I love it. A couple questions, Bill. What are good locations and sources to find good deals?
Well, where to find deals, I think that like anything else, everybody's looking for deals, and you have to put the time in and meet people. And I think that any professional investor I ever met has a deep Rolodex, is talking to people all the time. Mm-hmm. So, I like on this, call, I come on here and look at who the guests are, and they all have a Zoom call. I'm not a syndicator. I'm not raising money for my own investments. But there are people
thinking of doing that down the road.
But people who do that for a living, they go on these kind of calls, 5 days a week. So the next time you see somebody like a Chris DeSell or somebody at a company that's always raising money for the project, right, ask them which other Zoom calls they go on, and they'll be able to help you. I would say you can look on YouTube under multifamily investments, and you'll see recordings of calls that you might like, and then you can subscribe and go on those live and meet people. Most of the multifamily Zooms I go on have some sort of a networking breakout session where you can meet people. That's kind of what those people do. They're not educational focused, they're more networking focused. So there's a bunch of them I've gone on. There's a great one on called Zoom at 8. It's on Tuesdays. I'll put that in the chat box. She's fantastic, this gal. Hold on, what's her name? Was I last night? Yesterday. Oh, here it is. Julianne Peterson's Zoom at 8. How do you get onto her call? I don't even know how I got into it.
Yeah,
Can
put it on.
Can I share the Zoom link? Am I allowed to do that?
I don't know.
I've registered, so let me do this before I do.
Well, and I think that, something that I talk about on my weekly calls is connecting with different groups. This is your opportunity to meet other investors, other maybe brokers, or just maybe wholesalers, people that are coming across deals that, need an investor, right? And you might have the money, or someone else that has the money. You connect with a lot of people, and you will find something.
So this lady has a great one. Julie Pearson, she's at Old Capital Lending. So she's a mortgage lender as well as investor, as well as syndicator. Very educational and has networking. So if you go on there, I was there last night, and 3 or 4 people who had different deals called me, followed up. The deals were not for me. One guy has some great investments on like recreational vehicle parks, like high-end ones. Now, again, for me, anything below a Hilton is roughing it. But there are people in this world who have motorhomes and they like to go to remote places, but they want like a pool or a water park or some other amenities to go along with it. And this guy buys those parks and upgrades them and rents them out. Another guy approached me with mobile home park. Again, not for me, but great return. Just areas that I'm not going to go to Oklahoma. I'm not going to go to Nebraska. Nothing wrong with those places. It's just, they're not on my agenda. But if I was just looking for capital, places to invest, I might research those niches, research those geographies, and invest there. So I'd say go on her call. It's a good one. She gets about 30 people a week, and they'll do some networking. You can meet people there. It's a great source.
Yeah.
Also, I have one that I host, which is real estate investing zoom.com, and that you can register there for free. And that's Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I'll put that in the chat.
Yeah, make sure to join that call. That's a good one. Very good one.
I'm not selling anything. I'm just really, as a real estate broker, my customers come to me asking me where should I invest, and I just want to be that resource so that when they sell their house, I get a chance to sell the house. That's really my only motivation.
And same here. And also just educated, right? If they ask, because we come across so many people that if they ask, that at least we know we've got a decent Rolodex of whether it's a syndicator, whether it's an investor, a realtor in another state that we could refer you to. So
plus, I'm always looking for investments. So one way is I invite them on my show and they present their deal. I don't tell them, that way they're not selling me, they're just presenting it, and I ask questions. And I get one of them, I said, I'll invest in that one. Let's talk after the show. So
yeah,
for sure.
Very good. All right. Well, any last minute questions? We are coming to an end here, and want to make sure we get all your questions answered. We all good? You're going to go out and invest? Bill, thank you so much. This was awesome. This was great.
Hi, Annabelle and Bill. I just want to say hi. It's Sandy Hope.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey,
how are you?
We're good.
Thank you for that info. I will definitely look it up. I joined your call late, so sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Yeah, let us know if we can help in any way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hope, I meet investors like Sandy Hope just singing in a bar drinking beer. So
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. We had fun. So thank you.
Very cool.
Maria, I saw you yesterday. I think I went up. I think we crossed paths on a Zoom call. So there's somebody who jumps in and out of different calls, and it's just a networking process to meet people. So
who's that, Bill?
Maurice Brown is in the chat box that she had know about the event. So Yeah, she's met her on yesterday. She was sharing what she's working on. Hey, how you doing, Marie?
Hi.
And then this
Sorry, I didn't have up there, so I'm late. Sorry.
It's okay, no worries. We're actually almost ending the call, but this is a weekly call. I am on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and
Okay.
the link is on the chat. So if you want to maybe just kind of copy that, and you
Same
can
link every week, right?
every week at 2 p.m. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you.
All
and
right.
it's streamed on YouTube. And then also, as far as a resource on here is Tampa Russell is a title representative with Commonwealth Land Title, and so they do title insurance. I'm sure he can hook you up with different investors in the area if you're looking to invest here locally as well. So, or call Annabelle, I'm sure she'll connect you.
Perfect. Cool.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, we made it. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so
Annabelle.
much
It
for being a guest speaker. You always bring tons of value, and I appreciate that. And thank you, everyone. Please, make sure you subscribe. Check me out on YouTube. Subscribe.
Oh, why you wouldn't take the freeway? This is not faster.
Uh-oh.
Do you have an
Trying to get-
anti-freeway?
No, I don't.
Trying to
but
get my
I was going to, and it
subscribers.
said,
Uh-oh, what's going on here? If you guys can, please check out my YouTube channel, subscribe. Also Facebook and Instagram, it's Annabelle Pacheco or Anna Patch 1. I'd appreciate it, just check me out or just like me and follow me. And again, I am here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.